Hey, this is Bruce Pritchard, and you are listening to the Wrestling Radio Show on the Jock.
He's American man. He's got the red, white, and blue running through his veins. He was born and raised in the U.S. of A.
Wrestling Radio Show has returned on the Jock. 1300-1340. It is West Virginia's only wrestling radio show where we discuss the beautiful thing that is professional wrestling. Coming up on November 12th at the Roll-A-Rama, 137th 7th Avenue in Huntington. It is action-packed wrestling, live pro Rasslin. That's with an R. And last Wednesday night, we talked to Jock Samson. Because at Live Pro Rasslin, the main event, it is the North versus the South. And, of course, last week we talked to Jock, who would represent the South. So we got to hear from the North this week. And on the phone with me right now, one of the hottest names in indie wrestling. He is the progressive liberal, Daniel Richards. Daniel, are you there with us?
Yeah, hey, how are you?
We're doing good, man. We're getting excited for this action-packed wrestling show coming up on Sunday, November 12th at the
Cannot wait.
Can't wait, at the Roll-A-Rama in Huntington. And, of course, the main event has been announced. It is yourself taking on Jock Samson. And last week we heard from Jock. You know, I've been describing this as one of the hottest indie matches that's come across West Virginia in a long time because it is the North versus the South. You talk about a contrast of styles. You talk about a contrast of personalities. You talk about a contrast of beliefs. The progressive liberal taking on Jock Samson, and last week he had some choice words about yourself and liberals in general, just calling them basically whining 3-year-olds who don't get ice cream. What is your response to Jock Samson and those statements?
Well, first, I thought he sounded very lost in his interview and didn't really even believe what he was saying. I think he's using like his own version of the Southern strategy where he says things that are agreeable, but when you really look at it, there's no truth behind the stances he's making. Like, he got so confused at the end and saying stuff about, like, how liberals bash police officers or whatever. I mean, it's just, and then somehow equating that to me. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I sure as heck don't know what he's talking about. I have nothing but respect for the police, and I also have respect for authority and rules. I want to have a nice wrestling match, and this guy's saying he wants to use closed fists and have a fight. I can go that route, but, I mean, really, who's the good guy here?
His words last week is that he hates all liberals, and the fact that he's only met you twice, he can't stand you.
Well, first of all, he met me once. You know, he says, oh, well, he's a piece of trash, and I'd say it to his face. Well, you didn't say it to my face when you met me. The one time you met me in Moore, West Virginia, you were nothing but cordial to me. I was nothing but cordial to you. So it's just typical Republican, typical conservative, just all this false outrage, all this canned anger to try and impress all the people that, you know, are going to agree with all the ignorant stuff he says. You know, one thing I don't get about Jock is him and a lot of the country folk out there, they have this persecution complex where they're always worried that liberals are going to generalize them as stupid. You know, they're going to come in and make fun. Here he is. He's generalizing all liberals, all Democrats, by saying they want they're crybabies and they want handouts and they don't work weekends and all kinds of stupid nonsense like that. So, again, it speaks to what Republicans are, which is a bunch of hypocrites, and same with the people that support them and vote for them.
Daniel, what I'm taking from what you're saying is that basically you don't believe Jock Samson. You don't believe that his words are true. You just believe that he's saying it to get himself over and to put the liberals down.
No question about it. And another thing, that Jock Samsonite is doing is he's riding my coattails. He sees how viral I am. He sees all the news media. He wishes it was him instead of me. What he does is he gets on Twitter and he tags Donald Trump as if Donald Trump's going to read his tweet and be like, oh, there's that Jock Samson. I love that guy. Donald Trump doesn't know who he is. Hillary Clinton knows who I am. Donald Trump knows who I am. They don't know Jock Samson. That's not to take away from Jock Samson. I actually have a lot of respect for his ability in the ring. But he's so filled with all this false outrage and wants to just espouse it to all the country bumpkins out there that are just going to agree with him because they like the way he looks and they like the way he talks because he sounds like them, and they don't like the fact that I don't have a country accent, so naturally I'm the bad guy here. So he just wants to placate them. I come from a different point of view. I don't actually have anything against people from the South. I just want them to be better. Like, again, I'm not saying, like, get away from coal right away. I'm saying, like, hey, let's gradually phase it out. Let's go to better things. But, you know, they just take that as they're being attacked. And really, if you listen to Jock's interview, all he did was cry and complain the whole time, but he's trying to say, I'm the crybaby. Get out of here. He's ridiculous. And he's writing checks that his ass can't cash. And that's how I feel about Jock Samsonite.
Folks, this match is probably, it just got a little more intenser. It is action-packed wrestling, live pro wrestling, coming up Sunday, November 12th at the Roll-A-Rama. It is 137th 7th Avenue in Huntington. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time scheduled for 7 p.m. Tickets are $10 for general admission. You can sit front row and see this battle of North versus South. Jock Samson taking on the progressive liberal Daniel Richards. Of course, he is one of the hottest names in indie wrestling right now. Just throw it in your Google machine. You're going to find tons of stuff on the progressive liberal, and it is happening coming up on Sunday, November 12th. Your chance to get down to the Roll-A-Rama and meet one of the hottest stars in indie wrestling. Progressive, we're going to let you go, but before we let you go, you got any last words for Jock Samson if he's out there in the hills of West Virginia listening right now?
Yeah, if Josh Samsonite is listening, I want to say this. I don't know what you have planned between now and the 12th, but what I would like to do is I would love nothing more than before I kick his rear end in the ring or out of the ring or wherever he wants to have a go, I challenge him to a debate on this very program, and him and I can go back and forth, and I can embarrass him there verbally before I embarrass him physically in the ring.
Folks, you just heard it. The challenge has been laid out right here on the Wrestling Radio Show. That is breaking news. The progressive liberal Daniel Richards is challenging Jock Samson to a debate right here on the Wrestling Radio Show. The phones are ringing off the hooks. We're going to have to get that one set up and get back to you as soon as we can to get Jock Samson hooked up on that. That is breaking news. The progressive liberal just challenged Jock Samson to a debate right here on the Wrestling Radio Show. It all happens Sunday, November 12th, the Roll-A-Rama, 137th 7th Avenue in Huntington. Doors open 6 p.m., bell time scheduled for 7 p.m. It's action-packed wrestling, live pro wrestling. Fans, this might be the one event of the year that you absolutely cannot miss. The progressive liberal, the North, taking on Jock Samson, the South, a North versus South matchup. Progressive liberal Daniel Richards, we thank you for giving us your time. I know you're a busy man. You're doing a lot of stuff. We continue to support you, and, you know, the way that you're getting over in professional wrestling, it's a beautiful thing to watch, and we can't wait to watch you on Sunday, November 12th in Huntington as well.
Hey, thanks not only for having me on tonight, but having me on really early in the midst of all this stuff. You were right on top of it, and we promoted another action-packed wrestling event at that time, and, you know, I'm looking forward to coming back there and coming back to Huntington.